Hi, hello, welcome everybody to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. It is Sturch, the return of Gooch, and of course Nick behind the glass for us. Hope everybody's good out there. Good, everybody's good. I hope everybody had a great. What's today? Wednesday. So Tuesday. I hope everybody had a great Tuesday. Lots went down as soon as we went off the air. Why not? Because that's what always happens. Actually, on the air, we had the Soto trade. We'll get into that. And then right after that, there's some other stuff going on with the Miami Dolphins. We'll get into all that. But if you want to support Chop Sports, and now there's actually more ways to do it, or at least more incentive to do this, join our Patreon, patreon.com/Chop Sports, 3, 5, 10. No matter what variety you choose, you're going to be entered into all these breaks with break buds and stuff like that. So I know your show, we talked about it yesterday, me and Rob did, that it was a success. There's a nice little view count.
Felt good about
There's
it.
a nice couple people were walking away with some gifts. I know I walked away with a new Jalen Tolbert jersey card thing that I was like, man, this is worth like $1 million freaking dollars, and it's worth like $8. But once he's a Hall of Famer, it's going to be worth a lot more.
I mean, he's in a good spot this year, definitely.
I mean, we don't have anybody left.
I think the Jalen Tolbert will definitely be going up at some point. So maybe it's like a $20 card, not a $10 card. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. Like, we went into this very green, still very green, but comparatively to where I was last week with the knowledge I have, I would say it's gained tenfold, and it will get better. So just be confident that it's going to get better. And look, there's going to be better prizes as we grow. So keep on with the break buds, because the break buds are here to stay.
I got to create a playlist for you. I'll do that today, just to put them all in one shot. So that'll be cool. So yeah, definitely check that out. It's a show that's on our YouTube channel right now. It's not really categorized as anything. It's just under the uploads. So just scroll down, you'll find it. It was actually pretty dope. So other than that, also, if you're watching it on YouTube, please click the like button. It's real simple. The little thumbs up, just and then you're did. It's it. You did this. You did us a solid. Brand new episode of a Sit Down with Sturch came out today with John Paz. I got the entire story, which was incredible. It's like one thing, we've known the kid for a long time. We've brought him in here for 2 years worth now, or at least a year and a half worth of his whole journey currently. But I finally got to dive in and find out just how he got to where he got to, and some of the things and the stories he told were just incredible. What an incredible human being, an incredible family, an incredible just everything.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
Looking forward to giving that a listen. I didn't think it would be up today, so congrats and
kudos
on
I'm
the
fast. I got to get things up,
the rapid posting. Were you here till 11?
Yeah, I was here pretty late. He left at 3:30. I left at 7. So it was editing and this, that, and the third. I want to make sure things are done. Plus, I took a meeting with our boy Michael Fusco and stuff like that. So lots going on, but. Gooch, it's no longer Sturch's Rundown. I was about to say, go to Sturch's Rundown. You can head on over to Gooch's Rundown. Plenty of shit to go on in the world of sports.
Yes, so Major League Baseball, sad news coming out of Los Angeles yesterday. Vin Scully, the legendary voice of the Dodgers and longtime announcer for pretty much all things baseball, has passed away at the age of 93. The game has definitely lost a legend and an icon, so rest in peace to Vin Scully, and prayers go out to his family and all of Dodgers Nation. Trade deadline happened yesterday. A lot to get into with that, mainly the Yankees and the Mets, but all over baseball, we're going to talk contenders. We'll do this. We'll circle back because I'm not going to sit here and go through all the trades in the rundown, but we will definitely circle back on the Major League Baseball trade deadline, and maybe we'll do that in topic 2. But NFL news, Deebo Samuel, we were confused about the contract because the whole rushing aspect of it, and that was the reason for the holdout. Debo circles back now, and he says that he never really had a problem with it.
Good.
But, as you do a deep dive into the contract, there is word coming out that there isn't a rushing clause, and he could possibly make a full $2 million more over the course of a 3-year deal. So every time Debo gets the ball, he's probably going to get about 10, 20K. So that makes sense. It might be if he hits a certain point, but
I don't think it's when he touches the ball. Because I mean, dude, like imagine like the call comes in over the headset, and like Trey Lance is like,
it might be.
Wide receiver reverse on 2, and Debo's like, yay, like
all those read options. So it's like, bro, come on, hand that shit off. It's fucking 25K. Come on, bro.
Imagine the coach actually tells him like, don't you dare hand this ball off, Trey. You run.
So maybe we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive into that and see if it's an escalator thing, or if he has to meet certain criteria, or if it's just per carry. Because if it's per carry, then hand me the ball, baby.
Right.
Tim Patrick, one of my favorite players, and he's one of those guys that I
He's not even like a
target later
favorite
in
player.
drafts.
Just like everybody.
Yeah,
had him.
no, he is. He's one of my favorite players.
Oh, okay.
That's because he's always served me well, and he makes me look smart when I talk about him. So I'm not going to get to do that this season because Tim Patrick suffered an ACL injury.
Just talked about the Broncos 2 days ago.
It is a big weapon losing him, man. I know that it's not their 1 or 2, but in the modern day NFL with the injuries and look, he steps in and he does a good job. They don't have that luxury this year, so maybe Deshaun Hamilton or
Hamler.
Hamler
Wasn't one of those guys? Didn't one of those guys play quarterback for that 1 week because they didn't have anybody?
KJ Hamler.
Yeah. What a weird situation that was.
He's an athlete. He's a deep threat, but he's not the same type of receiver. Tim Patrick, just a solid all-around receiver. I like him. Matt Ryan is apparently a jerk off, according to teammates and friends alike. He doesn't care if he makes friends, but no, Matt Ryan, there's word coming out that he is a jerk. And the Colts players are the ones saying it, apparently. Matt Ryan was asked about it, and I don't know the details of it. I know Nyheim Hines. Rob had sent me an article this morning. I did see something on the McAfee show yesterday, but I didn't actually click the video. So I'm sure there's a little more details, but more likely than not, a mountain of a molehill. I don't really give a fuck if my quarterback's a jerk because winning games is all that matters.
Competitive jerk.
Tom Brady's probably not the best guy when you're fucking up in practice.
You know, it's to compare. The Colts players might not like this because it's like you went from Carson Wentz, who was like, somebody drops the ball, he's like, well, the Lord will forgive you, I promise.
Yeah,
and then you go to Matt Ryan's like, catch the goddamn ball.
But Frank Reich and who else was it? Frank Reich and Reggie Wayne said that they haven't seen the practices this fast in 2 or 3 seasons. So, I mean, Matt Ryan, you might call him what you want to call him, but a general is what I'll call him. And I think it's a good thing for the Colts. We'll see how it plays out.
Okay.
Miami Dolphins.
Oof,
Whoa, Miami
that
Dolphins.
happened literally this week.
Miami Dolphins.
We got off the show and it bang, it just
the
dropped.
NFL concludes their investigation of the Miami Dolphins, and they
6
were
months
swift and just with their punishment. Some people might not agree, and that some people is Brian Flores because they glossed over that fact. So the Brian Flores situation, I don't think anything came of that.
No, but Brian Flores was the one that allegated that, that the Dolphins were tanking and offering money, and he made those allegations, and that turned out to be false.
Yes. So the Brian Flores allegations turned out to be false as per the investigation. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's false, but as per the investigation, they could not prove it. So, where there's smoke, there's fire with me, and I don't think that the Dolphins were really worried too much about getting caught because they did get caught. And when I say smoke, there's fire, my guess is that they were trying to tank because if you look at the sum of all parts, Stephen Ross is a piece of shit. He's just another satanic member of the NFL ownership. Him and Daniel Snyder could go get fucked.
Drinking kids' blood and shit. Like, good Lord.
I guess this is topic 1. You could bring up the first graphic because it is the Miami Dolphins. We'll talk a little bit about it because, bro, I saw a thing this morning. I don't know who posted it in the group, but there's been 3 times in NFL history that a first-round pick was taken from the Miami from an NFL team, and all 3 times were involving Tom Brady. I wrote down
the Brady effect. The Brady effect.
So it was the Spygate where they removed the Patriots first rounder, and then it was Deflategate where they also took a first round pick for that.
And then it's Phinsgate,
and now Phinsgate,
which I'm calling it, by the way,
where they wanted Tom Brady so bad, and there's also Peytongate.
Sean Payton
was involved in this as well.
That's
not in the same situation, but similar situation, just separate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, for the Dolphins to do this and at least get caught doing this now, it's officially being caught, and then, first of all, a first-round pick, man. What's weird is now, if you think about this, a lot of people have done mock those college experts out there are doing mock drafts already for next year's draft, and next year you're only gonna have 31 first-round picks, because the Dolphins just lose theirs and nobody gets to take it. That's kind of crazy to me. That means everybody moved up a spot. That means pay grades move up the spot. This whole trickle-down effect has an impact on the entire NFL. So when you think that you win the Super Bowl, you're like, damn, I got the 32nd pick. And now you're like, no, wait, I got the 31st pick now. But the Phins, they get caught, and it's a bad scene because, again, there was a lot of optimism going into the season.
The only way you could actually move up a draft pick is if you finish better than the Dolphins this year. So finish better so you could move up 1 pick.
What I'm saying.
No, I know. I was just thinking about it in my head and how I was going to root for the Dolphins this year or not.
Feel bad for my mom. She's all over the comments right now. She's a big Dolphins fan.
Yeah, it sucks because
my heart bleeds for the Dolphins right now.
When you see these tampering allegations arise, what ends up usually happening is that they don't care because they attain the player or they they got the guy.
Right.
The Knicks with Jalen
Brunson,
They
right.
don't
We got
care.
him.
It's
Who
like, we
cares?
got him.
Right.
All right, no big deal. But the
We're only
Dolphins
paying him.
lost out on the player, and they got fined the 1.5
So
mil. And the coach. They didn't get either of them.
2023 first round pick, 2024 third round pick, a $1.5 million fine, and Ross can't be doing any kind of work related thing suspended. Well, I'm
Until
assuming
like
with
week 3.
October 17th is the date.
Give me a break.
I mean, I don't really understand that. And when you get suspended as a league owner, like, oh man, I gotta sit on my boat and not do anything.
So like not own the team?
Yeah,
Like, it does
that's what
not
I'm saying.
matter.
Like, who comes in there and like? I mean, he's not the GM, so like the GM's making all the player personnel decisions anyway. So really, what did the Dolphins lose? He got himself a vacation out of this. Truth be told, that's what it was.
Maybe he'll go to Israel with his boy
Snyder.
Yeah.
Right? To the homeland they go. Ross and Snyder. That sounds like a law firm, actually. So call Ross and Snyder right now. They'll get you out of all the allegations
they represent
possible.
the Illuminati, right? Come on. Fucking Snyder.
Oh my god! So yeah, the Phins suck, but look, their team's still going to be good. We already went over the Dolphins. We think the Dolphins are going to be a very good team. It's just that now this is kind of hovering over them. And was there a rumor or a report that not only did they want Tom Brady to play quarterback, but like somewhat like not ownership, but like GM status? Like there was a little bit of.
I mean, so basically, what he is with Tampa.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
but unofficially. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man.
Those are starting to happen.
No, it was what it was they were
world.
gonna. It was like an option to buy in, and that's what's crazy about it. It wasn't just like come sign here. It's like we'll give you a percentage of the squad.
Right,
like it's your team.
Right,
you'll get 2% of the Dolphins when you retire.
Looks like Ryu Reaper is coming in and just basically sums it all up. Brady just be cheated. That's it. Brady, damn it. Why? All the time. Not only that, he you know how like obviously
it's the one thing I respect about Tom Brady.
He
Truthfully,
cheats.
is that he's willing to do whatever it takes. It's why I loved A-Rod so much because look, it's all about winning in Major League Baseball and pro sports.
But like, you know what's
Brady
crazy?
does it.
Like, all right, so Pete Rose bets on baseball, no shot at the Hall of Fame for years, right? All the steroid guys, no shot at the Hall of Fame. Brady gets suspended.
But Tim Salmon might get in.
Yeah. Brady gets suspended, is involved with every single goddamn bad thing the NFL's ever happened to him in the last 25 years. That dude is going to moonwalk into Canton. You know what I mean? So it's like, where's
and
the...
honestly, if I had a gun to my head right now, I would say 100% Tom Brady is being his testosterone is being replaced therapeutically. If I had to guess, that's just my guess.
That's not a sin, bro.
I mean, it's not unless you play in the NFL. Or it's not.
You can be prescribed. I mean, but if you're prescribed,
hey, yeah, I don't know. Fuck that.
Hey,
he's on steroids.
Hey,
this is the NFL.
Hey,
Dave, we're talking about you can't do it in the UFC because it's a combat sport.
Okay, I can do it on the Chop Sports Daily.
100%. But you understand what I'm getting at, right? Like Tom Brady just seems to be looking younger and younger.
I mean, look, he's got the fountain of youth. He eats a bunch of kale. He's
give me a break,
hot
bro.
wife.
Tom,
like he's doing his thing.
I don't care how much yoga you do. I don't care how many push-ups you do. All right.
Well, if that was the case, you'd be looking a lot younger. You don't do all the yoga
All
and
I
the
do is
push-ups
yoga.
and push-ups.
It's not like I'm stretching to get healthy.
Somebody walked in. I
So
forget
I
who
don't
it was.
die that morning.
I think who was it? Somebody walked into our office. Is like, what the fuck is that? And like just saw the yoga mat on the floor. I was like, oh yeah, Chris does yoga from time to time. Hey man, got to exercise.
The story behind the yoga mat. I don't do yoga. I stare at the yoga mat, and like I'm thinking, like whenever I'm at the studio,
so
I'm
it's
like,
a mental exercise.
I should bring that yoga mat to the studio so I could use it when I'm here, and then I'll bring it to the studio and never use it, and then I'll be home and I'll be like, damn, where's my yoga mat? I wish I could, stretch my.
Casey Hammond with a really funny
groin.
comment. NFL team owners are just the worst type of Mr. Burns. 32 of them. Real life Mr. Burns. Excellent. Yeah, definitely. Oh my God. How many more years has Brady got? Well, now at this point, he's got 14 more years. He's going to play till he's 67 years old. Anyway, that's the Dolphins. Sucks for them. Now back to baseball, because yesterday, as you said, right before the show ended, it was about to, we got the Soto deal, and that was a goddamn haul. But the funny part was, there was a holdup for about a half a second, right? There was like, was it Nick? Was it Hosmer?
Yeah, but it was a holdup for a while. It didn't get.
Can you imagine being the one that like
3.
declines this whole thing?
Yes, I can. Imagine
That's
that.
amazing.
That's exactly what I would have done if I was Hosmer and they were about to send me
He
to
Roger Dorned it
the
from first base.
shithole.
They
That
went to
shithole in
Boston.
Darn!
Yeah, but at least Boston, come on, the Nationals are the Red
Yeah,
Sox. I'm not a Red Sox guy by any stretch, but if I'm picking where I'm going to play, if arbitrarily take the Yankees in a vacuum, right? My Yankee fanhood aside and my hatred for the Red Sox aside, I'm picking the Red Sox over the Nats any day of the week. So yeah, Hosmer.
But I don't understand why and I said this yesterday in the show. Why are they
buying
buyers?
a new house? You're doing all
why
that.
Why are the Red Sox adding talent? Stockpiling for the next couple years? Like, what are we doing?
You don't think that the Red Sox are firmly entrenched in the wild card race?
They are done. They're done. This team is done. Just like the Steelers were done last year, and they made the playoffs.
I didn't really see what the Red Sox did. What did they do besides get Hosmer?
They traded away Christian Vasquez, but then they signed
Tommy Pham.
Or they traded for Tommy Pham, signed another catcher. Like, they're still adding pieces. So maybe if they think in their little poverty minds that the Boston Red Sox are still in this thing, then go for it.
Yeah, but you have to look a little deeper into the contracts of all said players and see if they're gearing up for a run
Red
next
Sox
year.
are dead last, 17 games behind first place. So that's gone. We all know that already. But like as far as wild card, I don't know.
I would think that they're in the mix still.
All right, I'll look.
17 games out from the Yankees, who are 12 games up on the division or 11 games up on the division, give or take.
The Boston Red Sox, oof. They're down 2 games.
Yeah, so they're
all right. So, I mean, I look at them like 1 game over 500. I guess when you're 35, 40 games over 500, you kind of look at them as the small little people, but they're not.
They didn't get rid of
it.
any of their 3 stars, and Victor Martinez or JD Martinez, he didn't move because they thought he was Juan Soto.
What about speaking of not moving?
The Cubs.
Yeah.
Wilson Contreras
said
and
their
Ian
goodbyes.
Happ. They scrubbed their Instagram, or at least Wilson Contreras did. I talked to last week on the rundown about Contreras' words, and he just wanted it over with. He's fed up with the Cubs and the whole not necessarily the Cubs, but just the way the whole trade deadline process worked. And now he has to go re-add. I hope he archived it and didn't delete everything.
That's what I did with
so he could re-add all his Cubs photos.
That's amazing, actually. It's a social media tip, folks.
Yeah, Yankees and Mets. We'll talk about those 2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mets' big acquisition was Darren Ruff, and people are laughing and saying, "Oh, the Mets." Look, Mets fans talk themselves into a corner, so they're going to hear a little bit about like their lack of movement at the deadline and being involved in everybody.
Okay,
but if you look at Vogelbach and
he's raking,
and Darren Ruff's splits, forget that. It's like they have a really good player when you platoon that. They're going to have some issues in terms of relief in middle and in big spots at the end of games, but that platoon is really good. It's like a 280 platoon. If you got one guy bats real good from the right side against lefties, and then vice versa. So if they're able to manage that, which Buck Showalter's a master at,
and I said it yesterday, the Mets, like, while they didn't do
it's a good consolation
much, they didn't get aggressive as far as in the buyer's market. But to me, they got DeGrom at the deadline.
DeGrom looked really good.
And then the Mets did the Mets thing, and they didn't support DeGrom. And we know that story. Mets fans are well aware of that story.
I think that was the bigger surprise. They didn't really shore up the bullpen like the way I thought they were gonna. I thought that was priority 1, and all the other stars that they were talking about was just wolf tickets to appease the fan base, which Yankees fans know all too much about. But the Yankees did make some moves. One was a little questionable with the Jordan Montgomery trade for Harrison Bader. Bader's a little injured at the moment, but I think he really does fit in well in the outfield. He's a good center fielder, and when we get him back, the defense will improve tenfold. Aaron Hicks can't be counted on. Aaron Judge is as good as he's played in center. He's just not a center fielder. And
I feel like he's not built for a center fielder. Like, you got to cover a lot more ground.
Joey Gallo getting dished off. Everybody could celebrate that.
Yeah,
finally.
Gallo gets dished to the Dodgers, and then Vin Scully dies. Same day, no coincidence there.
I'm not having it. He was like, I'm out. Fuck this.
I loved it. I loved my time with the Dodgers and life, but now you're trading for Gallo. I'm good. That's enough for me.
I think the Yankees just had plans to possibly bump Montgomery from the rotation anyway.
Yeah, but how? Like, all right, obviously you got Montas yesterday and Garrett Cole. Severino, apparently from reports that I'm reading, is pissed off that they got put on the 60-day DL because he goes, I'm not even feeling any pain in my lat. Like, why am I here? And he's mad about it. Or this could be just preserving him for the playoff run, because then you're going to have Cole, Montas, Severino. Then after that, you probably have Cortez, which is your 4. And then the 5th spot is up for grabs.
I completely agree with it. If he's even a shred of discomfort, there's no reason to rush him back. This is the luxury.
When you're up 40 games, yeah.
Yeah, it's the luxury of being in the position we're in right now. And look, I've said it all year long that I worry about Severino in the stretch run, because he has not proven that he could get it done in the stretch run. And that was pre-injury. So post-injury, Severino, yes, proceed with caution.
Hawaii Mike, Florida Mike. Yankees have 34 losses. 12 of them are when Montgomery started. So, like, maybe there is some writing on the wall.
But the thing with Montgomery is he literally never got run support ever when he
That's fair.
He started.
That's fair.
But I think
I feel like you're a Montgomery stan right now. Is everything okay over there?
everything is perfectly fine. But I just think that, they have Florial and Duhar and maybe a few other outfielders in the,
So my question
AAA
here's my question. Ready? Montgomery goes in game 4. Is anybody overconfident? No. Harrison Bader will be playing center field in all 4 games, right? And
so value.
We're talking about the playoffs. The Yankees are not worried about the next 4-5 starts Montgomery may or may not make this season. That's completely irrelevant. We're talking about October now. That's all that matters. And when the Yankees are doing these deadline moves, they're looking at a 4-man rotation. They'll piece it together with bullpen if they have to for a 5th starter. You understand what I'm getting at, right? It's all about playing good defense in center field. And his bat came alive this year a little bit. So Bader's a proven commodity. Well, Jordan Montgomery, he might do well in St. Louis. I think he actually will. But he was expendable a little bit to me.
I just think that they could have then moved him into the bullpen, and then you have a guy like, let's say, for example, one of the starters gets
the
rocked.
Yankees made some really sneaky good bullpen moves. They got Lou Trevino, and then who was the other guy that they got from the Cubs?
Efros. He pitched last night.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I just meant in terms of just because losing a guy like Michael King that could come in for 3 few innings, but losing a guy like that, you do have to kind of bolster your bullpen.
Let's not forget about Herman, though. I think Herman will be the long guy.
Might be, but I think he's maybe even one of those guys, Herman or maybe Severino. You put in the pen for the playoffs.
It depends.
It's a hell of an arm to come out of the pen.
How long Severino, when he comes back, are they able to stretch him far enough? But I would go over Severino over Herman in a series.
I just had to relook just because they've changed it 17 times, one during COVID, another after that. Like the actual playoff format for baseball, it's a 16 playoff. Everybody knows that, but the first 2 teams do get buys, so it's like the old NFL. And right now, the Yankees and the Astros are entrenched 8 games up on the 1, the 2, and then the rest. So the Yankees are in firm control right now to have a bye into the divisional round, and that's why they're doing what they're doing with Severino. You can't be too careful. And I think it's a good move.
Talking about the abundance of outfielders, that's never a bad thing. I know that they're looking at,
but in that same breath, like too many outfielders, Judge and Stanton need to play every day. Like especially when you get down to obviously the nitty gritty of it when the playoffs, those guys need to play. So you're looking at multiple people for one position.
So the way I'm looking at it is it's very easy actually. It's Judge in right every day, Stanton DH every day. Then you got your Benintendi in left, and you got Bader in center, and Hicks is a bench player. What are we talking about? Is Aaron Hicks really
is actually back into a slump too?
It puts Aaron Hicks in a situation that he should be in anyway. He's an overpaid bench player. That's what he is at this point. He's not playing well, and don't be surprised if Hicks gets DFA'd for a younger guy.
Not with that contract now. He makes $10 million a year or something like that. But I don't see that happening. It's a team-friendly contract. Don't get me wrong, but I still don't think they would just DFA him.
Better yet, if he doesn't get DFA'd, which is less likely because of the contract. But when you get DFA'd, post-deadline moves with the DFA situation, I don't know if they rectified that because I know baseball used to. That's how the Astros got Verlander. That went away, I think. But you could still acquire a player. Aaron Hicks would probably not clear waivers down the stretch. A team might pick him up. Maybe not at that
I don't
money,
know. What do you do with Matt Carpenter?
What about him?
What do you mean, what about him? He's one of the hottest bats the Yankees have had in years.
Matt Carpenter plays infield.
Yeah, but where? Where are you going to put him? The Yankees have loaded themselves and put themselves in a good situation. But now, as much as we've praised Boone, he's going to really need to make some good decisions.
I'll also say this. We have no idea the severity of Stanton's injury.
I mean, apparently it's a calf thing or whatever.
Achilles thing. And he's been dealing with an Achilles thing lingering for 2 seasons now, 2 or 3. So
that solves the outfield. We have a lot of outfielders, but like you're going to take the bat out of Carpenter's hands after all this?
But if Stanton can't play, then you have an opening at DH.
All right.
Look, there's plenty of at bats to go around, and you even get one of these guys off the bench in the playoffs. That's such a luxury when you could bring in a guy like a Bader or a Benintendi off the bench in a big spot. That we're going to be fine with the bats. I'm more worried about squeezing in an extra arm. Where it's like, where would they have pitched Montgomery? If you really want to get technical, they were probably bumping him from the rotation. You have him in the bullpen. He's unproven in the bullpen.
What's this guy gives me? Jeff Nelson vibes.
He froze.
Yeah, he throws the whole, sidearm deal. So now it's really starting to feel like 96 all over again. But that's the Yankees. The Mets, obviously, we said didn't do much. But again, they got DeGrom back. They got to start hitting the ball again. I mean, not that they haven't hit the ball. Like it's one weird thing, but it just so happened to land on DeGrom Day, which was a trend for the longest time that nobody can support DeGrom with the run. So that just sucks. But to the Soto trade real quick. I mean, I saw graphics yesterday of that San Diego lineup, and it's just like, it's not fair. Like, it's not fair. It looks incredible. Their offense is going to be absolutely nuts. And now the NL just got that one big kick in the ass that it needed as far as another team to be in this thing. Because when you look at it right now, the Padres are 14 games over 500. And obviously they're still 4 games behind the Dodgers. So they're going to be entrenched in the wild card race, but that's going to be a team that's not going to be an easy out.
They're definitely making a push for the division. 4 games is a series. Dodgers are a really good team as well. It's not like you're chasing scrubs.
No. They're 4 games away from the wild card. They're 11 and a half away from the Dodgers. No. So that's what I'm saying. They're forever entrenched in the wild card race, but that's not going to be an easy out, man. That's not going to be an easy out at all. If you draw the Padres in round 1 in the wild card round, shit, man.
Now
try pitching around that shit.
Interesting thing about the Soto thing. Now you're looking at their contracts and you're looking at, is San Diego really willing to go over the luxury tax for a couple seasons in a row with they're not going to be able to sign Soto right away. Right. So they got 2 years of cheapies, and they could possibly make a run at it this year, see where they're at this time next year. And if they're not in a good situation, they trade Soto or Tatis. My question is, when those guys become eligible to get paid, which is very soon for both, I would imagine, which one goes and which one gets paid? I think this writing on the wall to me means Tatis goes and Soto stays.
Oh my God. That's the pipe dream right there.
Well, not really, because I think
Tatis, bro, he's definitely one of the best young players in baseball.
Yeah, I know, but
Tatis
has also had missed a bulk of time in each of the last 2 seasons with a bad back and a bad shoulder, and
I don't know,
both times non-contact.
He's kind of reckless.
He plays a little reckless. I don't know. I worry about Tatis with his injury.
I feel like that's your kind of player.
He is
reckless,
100%.
Reckless, bat flipping.
But I'll enjoy Tatis from afar just fine, because I do not want to start hating the guy because he's on the IL every 15 minutes, which is the case. So if I'm giving big money, big contract, a 9-8-year deal, it's not going to be to Tatis.
How do you feel?
That's what he's going to want.
How do you feel about the Riley deal? Getting 10 years for
I love it.
That's a great deal for the Braves.
Love it.
I feel like Riley kind of cheaped himself out. No comparison of everybody else that's about to cash in.
And he's looking at the Freddie Freeman situation and possibly saying, you know what, I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to just take my money right here. He's playing well there. He likes the fit. Look, everybody's different.
Oh, yeah. Tatis was locked up for 14 years. Bro.
Oh, he did sign.
Remember that?
Yeah,
that's
that
right.
15-year.
Remember that? That was last year. Hawaii Mike.
Thank you for that. So Machado is also locked up. I don't know.
Padres are going to be nice, bro.
Yeah, but you
just said, no, Hawaii Mike came in before us that the O'Malleys own them, and the O'Malleys are the ones that bring the Dodgers to LA. So these guys are probably like, oh, sweet luxury tax. Don't give a shit. We're going to win some games here because they're primed.
Ticket prices out in San Diego are very cheap. What do you think they're going to go up?
They're going up.
They're maybe a couple bucks, but they're not.
I think Toast was celebrating.
Yeah.
He's getting to get to flip his tickets.
They'll be more expensive for sure, but they're not going to be Yankee tickets.
No,
they're still they're like $20 now.
Yeah, Yankee tickets still for
Anybody see that graphic that said the Yankees beers were $6?
Yeah,
I was like, wait a minute,
where?
Well,
no beer
in the fucking parking lot.
$6.
I always defend the stadiums with the beer prices. Like, where do you go? You go to any bar now, and it's like you get anything besides a Miller Lite, you're paying $6, $8, $10.
Where do you go drink?
It's one beer every fucking where.
I go to fucking place around the corner from my house. It's $3.
And you drink Miller Lite.
Yeah.
I said anything besides Miller Lite.
Well, it's not like look at their Miller Lite prices in Yankee Stadium. I guarantee it's still $12.
Of course, but they're also 22 ounces. So it's
like they don't.
So it's like 2 Miller Lights.
Ooh.
If you think about it, right? They're the big boys.
In a vacuum.
Yeah. Well,
no.
I guess.
We just also completely glossed over the fact that the Padres did also trade for Brandon Drury yesterday.
No, I've not glossed over the fact.
You heard that? He said, nope, didn't gloss over. It's right there.
No, because Brandon Drury he's the surprise of this season. This guy's playing lights out. He's having a better year than Soto. Like, not even a debate. He's having a better year than Acuna. He's having the same year that Austin Riley's having. And if he had a bigger name and played somewhere that won baseball games, you would actually probably be seeing Brandon Drury's name popping up in some of the MVP conversations. He's definitely the most improved player in the NL to me. I don't know. I didn't do a deep dive on it, but Brandon Drury, he was a hot commodity at the market. San Diego got him next to nothing. I wish the Yankees would have went after Brandon Drury. I know he failed there earlier, but he's a little bit
I
better
was just
now.
going to say, that sounds very familiar.
And
Once upon a time.
Josh Bell. I think Josh Bell was
He didn't move either, right?
He got traded in the Soto deal.
Oh, my God. He's a fucking Padre, too.
So that,
Bro, these balls aren't going to land anytime
that was
soon.
The thing. Like, I don't know. This is not like word on the street, but I was seeing that the Cardinals all week. I was seeing that the Cardinals were equipped to offer the best package of players. San Diego offered a pretty good package of players, maybe not as good as the Cardinals package, but San Diego's willingness to take on Josh Bell in the deal was what set it over the top. There's no use for Josh Bell in St. Louis with Goldschmidt there.
Very true.
You know, so interesting that they got an added piece to their lineup with the ability to take Soto because they were willing to take that another lefty slugger. So San Diego's lineup is no joke.
San Diego is back.
Give up a fucking lot.
It's a huge
They
upgrade
gave up
at
a
first
lot.
base for them.
Which means a whale's vagina. What? First base? What?
I said it's a big upgrade for San Diego by taking Josh Bell because, you know, Luke Voigt wasn't really having.
Luke Voigt's over and he gets
went
back on the East Coast with his buttons down.
And Eric Hosmer.
But he did hit
Hosmer.
some. He owed some bombs. Luke Voigt.
I love Luke Voigt. He was mini Ruth. Even
All right,
though
what
he
else we got? The
wasn't Mini
Braves.
Ruth.
The Braves acquired Iglesias, the closer from the Angels, a nice addition to their bullpen after getting rid of Will Smith. They
Get
traded
jiggy
for
with it.
Robbie Grossman. Who was the pitcher that they got? Jake Odorizzi. So the
Yes.
Braves made minimal moves, very typical of what the Braves typically do. They got involved on all the big names, hopefully driving the price up, but they didn't go after any of them. And Grossman is a nice consolation to Juan Soto and a lot cheaper. Phillies, Noah Syndergaard, there to torment the Mets for the remainder of this season. I'm not so sure that the Phillies made the greatest moves, but they tried. And it's a good thing for Phillies fans to see their team trying. Harper just had the pins removed from his thumb, so possible injection into their lineup. And David Robertson did go to the Phillies, so he's having a really good
Philly
season.
adds two arms.
Didn't he already play for the Phillies once?
He did.
Yeah.
He went over there when Girardi went over there.
Phillies are in the
the
playoffs
Blue-
right now.
the Blue
just so
Jays-
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they're adding because they're trying and they want to make a run here.
The Blue Jays, sneaky good acquisition in acquiring Whit Merrifield. Just a really good player. He could play pretty much all over the infield, and he's a good hitter. We talked about the Cardinals getting Montgomery. The Red Sox, Martinez stays put. We talked a little bit about the Mets. I feel like there's something that I'm glossing over. The Astros acquired a catcher.
Yeah, Vasquez. From
Vasquez.
Did
Who
you
else
see
did
how
they
that
get?
went down?
I know they got somebody else.
But did you
another
see how
first
that
baseman.
went down?
I did.
Well, it's rough.
Well,
did.
they also ended up
Excuse me,
getting
sir,
Will
get off the
Smith.
interview. What?
They were the ones that traded Odorizzi for Will Smith.
Yeah, but there was also, I feel like they got involved on a first
Trey
baseman.
Mancini.
Trey Mancini.
Trey
Yes,
Mancini
So Mancini over
of the
in
Mancini
Houston.
doctors from
So
Melrose
everybody
Place.
did a little bit to try and improve
Michael
their
Mancini.
chances. I was looking for it this morning and I don't have it in front of me, but updated World Series odds. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that.
Merrifield is not vaccinated. In case you were
He's
wondering.
going to Toronto.
Because in case you were wondering, and that and
Well, that is
monkeypox
that
and
is interesting. He
all-
needs to be because he's playing for the Blue Jays now.
yikes. So he's going to miss all the home games. Kyrie, good job. All right. Anyway, that's baseball. Winners and losers.
Yeah,
We got
tomorrow
ourselves.
we'll bring up the updated World Series odds. If you're lazy and you don't want to check yourself right now, I'll check.
Just
for
wait
you
till tomorrow.
and show you tomorrow.
Are you guys worried that you're going to run out of money when you retire? I bet you are. Or how you pay for your long-term health care. I did not have to use any kind of health care on this stab wound, by the way. It's caked over nicely. So you're off the hook. Because for 15 minutes yesterday, I thought to myself, did he do it on purpose?
Jail time?
Right, dude, can I get him mocked up for this? Anyway, a comprehensive retirement plan gets you security and greater control over your money. Michael Fusco can help. Call 718-701-5787. Schedule a complimentary consultation. 718-701-5787. Guarantees and protections are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company. Some insurance policies are not available in all states. Gooch, take care of your grundle.
My grundle is well taken care of, but maybe you boys should take care of your grundle.
Yeah.
And if you want to do so, head on over to
Gross.
manscaped.com. Use the promo code ShopSports. You receive 20% off your entire order. Nobody loves anything more in this world than an ice cold No. A nice, clean shaven taint jungle. So get taking care of that taint jungle, boys and girls. Manscaped.com.
You hear the
promo code
passion in his
ChopSports.
voice and sincerity. He just
Oh,
wants
that
you guys
wasn't
to be
passion.
clean.
That was just a stutter. I just stuttered, and I covered it up with passion. I'm passionate about my taint
masking
jungle.
it with passion. I love it.
All right, so moving on past the Manscaped breed to
The Raiders. So we're here to the
shout out to
2000.
Joey D and Mike
Yeah,
Smith. Mr.
2000.
Shake Card Art, I found out is a Raiders fan as well.
Really? So they're like
Yes.
best friends right away.
Yeah.
They're best buds.
Break Buds. Such a great name.
Raiders, baby. It is time. Just win, baby, right? So last year, 10-7. Talk of the town for a little bit, you know. They were
Overcame
rolling.
a lot.
Overcame a shit ton. You had the stuff with Gruden. You had Ruggs killing people. Like it was a rough season for the Raiders. Derek Carr played the best he could with what he had. Insert the best receiver in football. We'll get into it. But yeah, brand new head coach. They do not retain their interim head coach, which I wish they would have done, but lucky for you, he's your new special teams coordinator.
Highest paid special
Great
teams
guy.
coordinator in
Great
history.
guy. Great Italian paisan. So the 2022 Raiders are coached by Josh McDaniels, second head coaching stint. His first one went right down the shitter.
Yeah, outside Jay Cutler. It's tough.
In Denver.
Yeah, I think Cutler and McDaniels, that was the marriage.
Yeah. Oh. I blame McDaniels. Cutler's a G, bro. Cutler
Post
is
NFL Cutler is
post
like,
NFL Cutler is a guy I
Pedro
want to hang out
Martinez
with.
to me. I love Pedro post career. I love Jay Cutler post career.
How do
Like,
you love-
bro, you're telling me that
Ugh.
the Yankees and my daddy,
Oh
and
my
all
God.
the stuff that he played on.
My dream just got
post-career,
I had a dream last night. Ready for the dream?
I'm not sure.
It's not graphic. It's who I hung out with.
Oh.
And like went to restaurants with and called my friends like, yo, I'm just hanging out with this guy nonchalantly. Daniel Jones with a beard. A bearded Daniel Jones, like off-season. What a weird effing dream that was. I was like, yeah, I'm just hanging out here with Danny Dimes. I'm like, why am I woke up, I'm like, look.
I bet you this is case in point. I say this like same thing with me. I hate Tom Brady. If Tom Brady walked in the room, I'd be like, Tom, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. Is that what you thought? I'd be like, is that what you thought? Who told you that I wanted to fight you?
It's like
Right?
it's from Entourage.
You would meet Daniel Jones and be like, "Oh my God, what's up, bro? You're fucking."
This
actually
is
a
true.
cool,
I probably
normal
would.
human."
When I met Eli working for the Giants, I was like, this dude is the funniest guy I've ever met in my life.
I mean,
and
Eli,
I hate you all at the
Eli
same
is
time.
a little different because he's like the, that's the
You'll
man
be
in the
dope.
family. You can't really talk shit to Eli's face.
Anyway, yeah, I know, Bailey. I'm sorry. I'm disappointing all my Cowboys friends here and followers. But anyway, back to the Raiders. So the 2022 Raiders.
Would have thought Dave's dream come true.
Dream
You're
of
fucking-
meeting Daniel Jones. The losses, they're out there. There's definitely a couple guys that walk out the door from last year to this year that you definitely will be missed, but they replaced him significantly. So Ngakwe, he leaves. He's gone, right? But of course, you got the other flip side of that. They signed Chandler Jones. I think everybody's going to be okay. They lose 3 linebackers. I don't have to name them by name, but the linebacking room took a little bit of a hit. They lose Marcus Mariota, but replaced him with one of the greatest backup quarterbacks going right now, Big Dick Nick Mullins.
I also think that they got Stidham from New
They did
England,
get Jared
and
Stidham.
Josh McDaniels bringing in Stidham. I think
That's
you
a
could
little bit-
possibly see a good quarterback competition working out for the number 2 spot.
They lost the receiver, 2 receivers in Zay Jones and Brian Edwards. I feel like Brian Edwards wasn't given the fair shake because a lot of people were talking good about him for a long time, and they just never kind of materialized. So now
Yeah,
he's going
I mean,
to Atlanta, I believe.
Maybe he got a fair shake, but the guys in
With
the room,
Mariota.
because Zay Jones was playing really well, and they had a good receiving room last year, all things considered. And outside of the Henry Ruggs situation, really, that's the only time that opportunity opened up. And I think Edwards might have been a little banged up last year too.
Yeah. So anyway, Solomon Thomas, they lose him. He's an edge rusher. He goes signs with the Jets. Zay Jones, I said that before. Their gains obviously starts and almost ends with adding the best receiver in football. That's Devontae Adams. He goes over to Las Vegas. Chandler Jones. They talked about Nick Mullins already. Keelan Cole from the Jets. Rocky Sin, they got in a trade last year. Mac Hollins. Demarcus Robinson, another guy that kind of got lost in the shuffle. Couple nice games in Kansas City. He goes out west and stays out in the AFC West. So all of a sudden, you're looking at Derek Carr, and he's got weapons. You know, he's obviously got third and Renfro. He's got Hunter Renfro, Devontae Adams, Demarcus Robinson, Keelan Cole, and one of the best tight ends, most athletic tight ends in the league in Darren Waller. And of course, Josh Jacobs. A lot of people are starting to wonder what kind of year this guy can have, considering the stack boxes are no more. Like, you now have to double, triple, quadruple team Devontae Adams. So you have to, there's a lot of moving parts on that defense. Defensive coordinators against the Raiders this year are going to have a problem, I think. But again, this division is loaded. Their schedule is brutal. Their defensive side of the ball is great. Their offensive line is a little young, but the defensive line is Crosby and Chandler Jones. Like, come on. Like, you will be
solid up front.
That's a solid up front defensive line. I love Jonathan Abrams. I know he hasn't really come on yet, but he's the safety. The team is good. I just worry about the fact that they're just playing in a really tough division and their schedule's not favorable. And there's multiple pockets of this schedule where they're on the road back-to-back weeks, which is weird. I always felt like if you're going to be home for a little while, great. And then they put them on the road for 2. And then like that never happens again. They have 2 pockets of time where they're on the road twice. They start their squad. I'll ask you first. When you look at the Raiders as a whole, your boy Joey D's team, like this team right now, last year, 10-7, the prediction and the over-under goes down after last year, after adding Devontae Adams. Why did that happen?
Chandler Jones.
Well, why did that happen?
I would say the Russ effect is a big reason why it happened
Within the division.
and the new head coach is why it's happening. The competition out in the AFC West is why it's happening. But I don't have any other good reasons when I look at the team why it's happening. I think that's going to be one of the most bet overs in the preseason is going to be over 8.5 wins. I don't know. Like I usually tend to fade the public, but it's one of those that's like hard. I would imagine, I don't know the odds on what it is, but it's probably like -140 to go over.
Well,
8.5
the schedule
wins.
is not easy.
Yeah, but it wasn't easy last year.
You know how I do this? I kind of roll through and I find like the minimum, and I feel like the minimum right now with a couple good bounces of the ball might be 8 wins out of this schedule. Because look, the start of the season against the Chargers in LA.
Well, if you look at the minimum, and it's like that's minimum floor.
Well,
that's a good start. For
I gave them wins.
If it's 8.5.
Majority of them are at home. A couple on the road. Not a lot on the road, man. I just so here we go. Chargers lost. Cardinals back home. They'll win that game. At the Titans, I don't know.
That's going to be a good game.
Very good
game.
game.
I don't expect the Raiders to lay down week 1 by any stretch.
I mean, they're not going to lay down, but the Chargers, to me, are like my secondary Super Bowl pick in the AFC, to be honest with you. So, like, and we'll obviously make all those picks as September approaches. But like,
yeah, but they could lose some games. They will.
Then they got Denver at home, on the road against Kansas City. Never easy. Early bye, meaning again, a lot of these teams with the buys like 9, 10, 11 in those weeks. That's good because it breaks your season up in half. But the Raiders are taking an early bye here in week 6. That means you played 5 games and now 12 games in a row come in after that. The pockets that I was talking about, week 8 and 9, at Saints, at Jags, right? And I say they could probably win one of those 2. I want to say they'll maybe beat the Jaguars at home. I mean, in Jacksonville. But then again, I look at Jacksonville and I might have given them a win in that. So I don't know. But like, I'm looking at those games as like toss-ups. They will. I think they could beat the Colts at home. That's just me. When you're in Vegas, I feel like, and I'm not saying that crowd moved from Los Angeles to Vegas like wholeheartedly, but that was a cool place to play. And I think the Raiders played very well at home last year as far as like crowd, home crowd, energy up, right? Vegas is just a cool town. Let's not discount
the fact that you're getting a bunch of visiting young players coming into Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things that will take you off your mind off of football when you go out to Vegas and play the Raiders.
Yeah. Of 2021. I'm just curious now because so they were all right. They were only 5-4 at home. So I'm wrong on that one. As far as like they're 5-3 on the road, so they're actually a better road team. Finished the year winning 4 in a row. But anyway, so back to the schedule. Another pocket of hard is 11-12. They go at Denver, at Seattle, and I know Seattle's going to kind of be like, it depends. Really, it really depends on who their quarterback, how they gel.
Seattle's going to suck.
Seattle will probably suck. So maybe they get another win on the road there. So if that's the case, Gooch, then I might switch my floor to like 10. And like I said, yesterday we did the Chargers at I had them at 11, floating around 11. And then the day before, I had the Broncos floating around 10, I think, if I remember correctly. So if the Raiders do 10, like, do you think we live in a world that the AFC West, all the teams have 10 wins? No. So do you think the Raiders are the team that will probably falter? You're not big on the Chiefs. I know we're going to talk about the Chiefs tomorrow, but
I'm not down on the Chiefs either.
You're down on their defense.
It's hard. I think I'm really high on their offense. I think Juju is going to be a nice addition. I still think they're going to score a ton of points with a little different way of doing things. We'll talk about that tomorrow, but I'm going to go over on the 8.5. I don't know if I had Denver at 10 wins either, though. I think I had Denver at 9.
Did you? Yeah. I would have to look back.
And I'm not positive. I have to look
and these are early, so we'll probably.
But I'm going to go over 8.5 wins, but I don't know if it's going to be much. I look at the Raiders as a possible exactly what they were last year, 10-7 team, and another possible playoff berth. 10-7 should get you in.
Now, much like they did last year, they won 4 in a row on the back end of their season. This year, after they beat up on the Patriots, which I think they will, because Josh McDaniels is going to beat Bill Belichick. That's going to be like the thing, right? It's going to be a story. Boom, they beat them. Week 16 at Pittsburgh, going to the East Coast, technically, in the elements, I'm going to assume. That ain't going to be no easy feat. As much as I bash the Steelers, not even bash the Steelers, just kind of not as giving them the rub they might deserve towards the back end of the year. And then they got the 49ers, and then they finish against Kansas City. The only plus I would say is they finished the season at home against the Niners and at home against Kansas City. So they're staying for some home cooking at the back stretch.
Yeah, well, the Patriots, they could be one way or the other or fighting for a playoff spot at that point. So all those teams, if you really look up and down their schedule, they don't really have many gimmies. Like at the Titans, I think that they're going to be an easier game than people think this year. Every game in their division is going to be tough. The Texans is a gimme. At the Saints are one of those teams where 50-50. They look like they preseason are around a 500 team. They could go both ways. If Jameis gets hurt again, then it's over. Broncos, yeah, anything in their division. We talked about Seahawks. I feel like that's a gimme game, but it's on the road. They don't really have an easy schedule by any stretch, but they're a really good team too. My biggest concern with the Raiders, and I've said it all along, is their lack of ability to cover receivers. So they're going to give up points. They're going to get to the quarterback this year. There's no question about that. And that'll make up for a lot of deficiencies in their secondary. But the way teams are running now on offense with 3 receiver sets and even tight ends splitting out wide, running backs catching the ball out of the backfield, the Raiders, that's their biggest Achilles heel, is going to be in coverage. This day in the NFL, you got to do everything well defensively, but when you get scored on fast because you can't cover people, there's nothing more demoralizing. I watched it for years where the Packers offense would score right away and their secondary would just give it up. So it's going to be frustrating, and they're playing a lot of high-powered offenses within the division.
Interesting stat coming in from Florida Mike here. To Pittsburgh is the longest they're going to have to travel. Furthest east after week 10. So week 10 and on, the furthest east they have to go is Pittsburgh. Everything else is either home or on the left coast. So that's an advantage, I think. I mean, a lot of people don't put a lot of stock into that stuff. I do. I've always been that same guy that's like, NFL, do the right thing. Stop scheduling West Coast teams at 1 o'clock. Just do the right thing. Don't do it because it's not fair. It's really not fair. Like, if they're going to do that, you got to make them 4.
That game might be at 4.
Oh, I'm just saying in general.
Actually, that game's at 8.
All right, so it's a night game. But I'm saying in general. I'm talking generally speaking.
No, you're right. And that's one of those things.
It's just such an easy
I'll tell you
fix.
who doesn't gloss over that fact? Gamblers.
Right.
Right.
Like,
so that's a good reason why you shouldn't.
Right. So that's the Raiders in a nutshell. 8, 9, 10 wins. Could be, I don't know. It's going to be.
I got them at 10-7.
Wow.
With the ability to go a little bit better and definitely a little more ability to go a little worse.
So not only that, so so you're firmly over on the over.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in on 9+.
I can't see them losing 9 games this year.
Okay.
But
it's a great spot to fade the West Coast teams. That's what Tosca's as far as the gambling aspect of it's a great. That's what I'm saying. It's not fair for the West Coast teams. Like, it's just not. Like, tell the Niners to go play the Jets at 1 o'clock. It's like, what are you doing?
The Packers travel to Florida at any given point in any season.
Dallas has to go to Florida this year. God help us.
Struggling.
Going to Jacksonville. I think I'm going to swim in the pool for that game. But anyway, that's the Raiders, and this AFC West will conclude it on tomorrow as we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, which is led obviously by Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, that whole company. Defense takes a bit of a hit. We'll get into it tomorrow. We'll pick our division winner of that one. And then Friday, we'll wrap it up with some fantasy talk. Programming note for next week. Normally we do north, south, east, west. We're going to do the NFC South to start. So we'll do south, north, east, west, because Baba Ganoush over here is going to be on a little bit of a vacay for 3 of the days.
Lucky Guccione.
Yeah, Lucky Guccione. Baba Ganoush. Somebody's got to pay for the lap dances for the big guy, huh? That's a Greg joke. But anyway, so that's where we're at. So we'll do the NFC South. I think we're on a scoop in here a day, a scoop in here, Rob in here for a day. Maybe we'll even put Nick right in your seat for a day.
How you feeling about it,
How
Nick?
you feeling about that, Nick?
I mean, if you want me to.
Oh, boy.
I'm up for it.
Okay. Challenge accepted. You're going to be recording a podcast today?
Of course.
Brand new, not giving a puck drops tomorrow for all your hockey news. I know hockey season's far gone.
It's so nice that you named your podcast after me.
Look at that, huh?
It only took me 3 weeks to come up with that.
It took a little while to get there, but it's good. But yeah, so that's that. So if you're watching this video at any point of the day, whether you're a live viewer or not a live viewer, doesn't matter when you're doing it, please hit the like button. That helps. And it's so funny because I watched a lot of videos last night on editing. And that's like the first thing that people always say, like, smash that like button. I'm like, you're such a cornball. But then I'm just like, well, you kind of have to do that. So please, for the love of God, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome. We do this every day, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock. For the football season, and obviously, you know, we'll figure things out as we go. So for Sturch and Gooch and Nick behind the glass, this has been another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock Eastern time.